I would like to say good morning to all of you this morning and welcome to our virtual mini conference on net zero places and innovation. Today's session is part of our Smart Rural series, and you may be wondering, for those of you that don't know us, who we are. So a little bit of background on CREST, which stands for the Centre for Research into Environmental Science and Technology. So we're predominantly a European research development funded project, so an ERDF project. We're an environmental research centre based in Shrewsbury, part of the University of Chester, working in partnership with the University of Birmingham and Rees Heath College in Nantwich. Together, as higher education institutes, we offer support to small and medium enterprises who are looking to reduce their environmental impacts, as well as increasing their, positive environmental credentials, or maybe to innovate and develop new products and services. We've got a multidisciplinary team of experts from the three institutions, and together we work really closely with businesses, providing academic credibility to your products, your projects and services, but more importantly, providing advice and support as well to bring these new products and services to market. We also work with lots of companies to understand the relevant markets through market intelligence, our business model canvas, and soon, hopefully, life cycle assessment, where again we'll be working with businesses to identify their opportunities related to near and wider impacts of climate change effects on and of the business. I guess our services are really particularly valuable for startups, but helpful for anyone who has a brilliant idea and really needs our advice and support. So in effect, the whole purpose of the ERDF side of CREST is to support those who want to innovate and develop new products and services, and really are in the first stage of that process within and it's a Sheffield then, Shropshire, Telford and Wrekin. We've got numerous professional business networks, and I know some of you on the call today are part of these, and these relate to water, geospatial, innovative farming and smart rural that we're here about to talk to today. These networks of ours provide a real opportunity for individuals locally and wide to share their knowledge, to develop context, which generally ties in with a lot of work that we do with our MSc, our PhD students, our teaching and our externally funded research with industry. So, Smart Rural, where are we now? Well, to date, we have ran 5 Smart Rural events over the last couple of years, and these have covered a general introduction to Smart Rural. They've covered transport and mobility, water, energy, and digital connectivity, all with a focus on Shropshire and very similar rural areas. Let's move to the next slide. So continuing with the Smart Rural theme, today we're collaborating with the Connected Places Catapult and the National Innovation Centre for Rural Enterprise, better known as NICER. So Connected Places Catapult, and I won't steal the thunder of the speakers today because they will introduce their own organisations, but I'd just like to say that Connected Places Catapult is the UK's innovation accelerator, mainly for cities, transport and places, and relevant to today's theme, they're around providing innovation as a service for mobility, built environment businesses, infrastructure providers and public institutions, to really catalyse step change improvements in the way that we all live, work and travel. And as we all know, that has changed considerably during COVID. NICER brings together the strengths of its founding higher education partners, and these include the University of Newcastle, the Enterprise Research Centre at Warwick University, the Countryside and Community Institutes at the University of Gloucestershire, and RAU in Cirencester, the Royal Agricultural University in Cirencester, and their aim is to really foster rural enterprise and unlock the potential in the UK's rural economies. So The aim of today's event is to really encourage a better understanding of the opportunities to decarbonise and innovate within rural counties such as ours, and those that we're working with towards very much a net zero future. And we've deliberately chosen different lenses. So today we're going to consider sort of energy, transport, land management, and the built environment, along with others. I think, you know, the natural environment in particular, which we'll cover today, as well, is very topical and I guess very typical in such rural environments, and was widely mentioned in COP26 over the last couple of weeks. The question for us today and for everybody here really is how we can develop the narrative around the relationship between the industrial and nature-based solutions towards net zero. How can counties such as Shropshire, you know, lead on these conversations? And it's anticipated that if we continue to share best practice, you know, collaborate, leverage university and business expertise, I think together we could really build a national network of rural counties facing very similar challenges to ours, and not just to level up, but also to accelerate and lead on tackling climate change in our places through business and community-led entrepreneurship. And I think on that note, I will have a look at today's speakers, which will all contribute to this agenda. So hopefully I've taken the timings off this, but hopefully you've all had access to the agenda today. So in effect, we're going to be running from 9:30 till 3 o'clock today, and we have got first up Dr. Richard Miller, who's going to be talking about net zero, the built environment and the challenges and opportunities this brings. We've got Professor Joe Howe, who's from the University of Chester, and Joe will focus on decarbonising rural. We've got Adrian Cooper and Tim Pritchard, who are going to do a double act from Shropshire Council, and they will be focusing on climate change challenges and opportunities for Shropshire. We've then got a Q&A panel, 11:10 till 11:30, and what we're aiming to do at the end within the Q&A panel is bring all the questions together from the speakers. So at the end of each presentation, we will dive straight into the next presentation rather than going through a Q&A there. And there is on the right hand side the functionality in chat to pose questions, please, to the speakers. So please keep those coming in. We'll then have a short break at 11:30 till 11:40 just to grab a cup of tea, coffee, and then we will come back and we will be listening to Dr. Patricia Franco from Catapult Places. And Patricia will be looking at travel behaviour and how this can support net zero. We've then got Associate Professor Chris Short from the University of Gloucester and the NICER Rural Enterprise. And Chris will lead us through decarbonisation in terms of what we need to know, what are the challenges and opportunities, and in particular he'll look at natural capital, finance and the rural economy, which are pretty much key to what we're talking about today. Again, we'll then have another short Q&A panel, and Kat will kindly read out these questions to the speakers, and we're hoping that all the speakers will be able to stand for the panel sessions. We'll then take a quick lunch break from 1 till 1:30. Then after lunch at 1:30, we'll be introducing Andrew Cooper from Evora Edge and the Pump House Knowledge Hub in Shrewsbury, and Adrian will introduce us to the performance gap, energy performance certificates, net zero and Neighbours UK, and I will let Andrew delve much deeper into that this afternoon. We then will wrap up with Poppy Maltby from Regen, 2 o'clock till 2:30, and Poppy will look at net zero and electricity networks in rural areas. You know, we would love you all to stay with us all day if you can, but we appreciate you might need to dip in and out. So, you know, if you do have a question before you dash off, please do pose it in the chat function, and we will try and answer as many as possible.